I graduated in 1991, so it's pretty sure that your parents were not planning to make you at the time. But however, all these years I've learned a couple of things. First, I want to tell you 3 things I cannot give you advice on, so that everybody has some kind of thing, right? First, I cannot give you any advice about how to go for job interviews. I never had a job interview at all. And I cannot tell you how to behave yourself in immigration and airports, because when I arrived in Boston for the first time, they asked me, do you have any drugs? And I said yes. And then they whisked me away and put me through tests and tests and tests. And finally asked, I was having poetry books in my bag. Why are you reading poetry? They thought I was a druggie. And I finally said, are you looking for narcotics? I said, yes, I don't have any of those. So the third one I cannot give you any advice on is that romantic advice. I've actually tried that, but I never asked anyone out. Anyway, so essentially you should think of me as a Commonwealth Avenue boy. After I arrived in Boston, I got 2 more major important things that I needed in my life. One is outstanding teachers, my professor Leonard Levin and everybody else who taught me. And I also, on ComAv, I conveniently found my wife living next door. So I married her too. She's sitting here somewhere. If I'm a little bit nervous, it's because of her, okay? And so yesterday we were walking around in ComAv and memories were coming. But what I can tell you is that from a technology point of view, things will change. What you learn when you get out will be useful for some time, then you have to learn something else. And this is the story of my life in the sense that any kind of technology you learn, it becomes obsolete very fast. And one could say that yesterday's master's degree is like today's bachelor's degree, and today's bachelor's degree is probably like high school, I don't know. So basically, they keep on learning, and the question is that how do you future-proof yourself, right? The point is that if you want any definite outcomes, you can do it, right? So what you need to do, the way I actually worked around, I can tell you what I did, is that I was in industrial labs, like Bell Laboratories, and then in Microsoft Research. There you see technologies come and become obsolete very, very fast. And so I want to tell you what I did when I joined Bell Laboratories and Microsoft Research are actually more or less irrelevant now. I'm going to tell you what happened in the last 15 years, 10 years, and probably that will affect you also. So I'll give you step by step. So if you want to solve a problem, you have to look very hard. The most difficult thing about solving anything is you have to find a problem to solve. I'm going to give you the story of California water districts. You may wonder why am I telling you this, but it'll come to you. So there's a professor called Frank Loge. He's in UC Davis Civil Engineering Department. The baseball story, it all applies to him. He never gives up. He keeps on finding. So the idea in California is that there are 1,250 water districts. That means there are separate companies throughout California. They deliver water to you, right? And California was in drought. You have to save 24% of the water to avoid drought. So one way or the other, Frank Loge got data from all the people, and they pointed out that 17% of the water is wasted from the pump to the houses. And 20% of all the energy in California is sent in pumping water. And then the way it happened is that to take all the water companies' data, which are all very sensitive, and you have to do analytics on it. Then and only then you can actually figure out that what is needed. You can give individual advice for the families how to save energy. And it also turned out that when you did the analysis, the very wealthy people were paid per gallon much, much less than poor people because they buy a lot of water and it's illegal. And so the whole thing came around, and California water district problem is the first case I learned that by solving by putting sensitive data in one place and doing analytics, can solve real-world problems. And the second time I learned very thoroughly is the companies in Boston. They do drug trials where before drug is approved, you have to do a lot of tests. And that also turns out to be very heavy-duty analytical work on data that is produced by drug trials. And once again, there are sensitive data. And if you go to countries like England, they have the third case is Office of National Statistics. There are like 20 departments inside the country. They cannot share data with each other, but they do all the analytics on and forecast all the GDP, how the economy is moving, where is some kind of a epidemic coming. You can forecast all kinds of things with this by putting all kinds of sensitive data together and doing analytics. I can keep on going. Currently, I work with systems when there are 120 banks and all the hedge funds and all the stock exchanges. They're all trying to save their skin by doing the analytics because they have to change the business model. So when you do this kind of studies, what you really learn is that, first of all, very difficult problems require you to work with a lot of people. And it's multidisciplinary. And you cannot be a cryptography expert and solve the whole problems, actually, but you have to be. So what you will find is that the so-called ChatGPT kind of things will come. I did ask ChatGPT, my name is Ramarathnam Venkatesan, I'm going to give you a commencement speech, please give me one. And he wrote me a huge thing. It was hallucinating, so I dumped it. What I learned from BU education is that how do you study large collection of problems and find abstract patterns in them, and then you ask yourself, can you solve everything using existing commercial solutions? Sometimes it's not possible, almost always not possible with the cloud. And then you can try to use recent research, or sometimes you have to do new research. This is what I really enjoy doing. And that actually what it means is that whatever I did 10 years ago it's in the horizon, and it's much less valuable to a lot of people. This will keep on happening to you because of the large-scale analytics and large-scale cloud application. So what I found useful is that my mathematical background, and you have to find the right partners and pair with them, and you should not be selfish. If you try to be very selfish to get all the credit to you, nobody will talk to you. And you have to be, earning people's trust. Sometimes you won't get the credit. Don't worry about it. Don't tell your wife about it, actually. And don't worry, I see a lot of people complaining that I deserve all these things. The universe is not giving to me anything. The complaint won't help you at all. So what I want to say is that what you learned today will be useful for some amount of time, but you have to keep on learning, and hopefully, if you're a bachelor's degree, I encourage you to become a master's degree student. If you have a master's degree, do a PhD. And if you're a PhD, keep on learning. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Venki. My privilege to recognize you as the 2023 Distinguished Alumnus in Computer Science. So this is for you. Thank you.